Hello, everybody. Welcome. We're so
Hi.
excited to have all of these amazing people in the house. We have Nina Sharil Khan, we have
Woohoo!
Amit, and we have Pauline. We got our special
Yo.
Yoda, we got our bubbly Nina, and we got Pauline that keeps them all together just to make sure they're on the right path, right, Pauline?
Hey, I'm the nicest one, lah.
This.
Come on.
The whip.
No,
the
she's
whip.
not.
Look at
I
me. I mean,
disagree.
she's not nice.
So some of you would have seen Nina a couple of weeks ago, or was it a month ago? Nina came to speak about spiritual healing, right? So very interesting topic. And now we're moving on to something a little bit more serious, so to speak. We're talking about social media, which is fun, casual, and myself and Yi, we met Pauline and Nina, 2 years ago, was it? 2.5
Before
years.
MCO. Yep. Right before
yeah,
MCO
2 years
started.
ago. Before
Yeah.
MCO started.
Before
correct,
MCO.
We met.
Yeah.
I met Pauline and Nina together. Yeah.
And we took advantage because the moment we saw them, we're like, okay, these people, we need to talk to them. And we were already planning things.
In our mind, we were like, oh, we can get them here. We can get them do this. We can get them do that.
Right? And
Can.
shortly after that was the whole MCO thing.
MCO. Yeah.
Hey,
not
no.
lucky
I
enough
come
to
over
meet
for a
Ami yet.
lift as you rise. Lighthouse,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
the music
Yes.
house.
Yeah, we met
That.
shortly before the lockdown. We were very nervous actually because the conference was like, I think a week or two before we completely locked down.
Wow.
Yeah.
really?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Definitely.
Well
Definitely.
done.
Okay, so let's start off with just casual introductions, right? We don't do lengthy introductions from our side because we think it's too formal. So maybe we'll start off with Pauline, just to bully her a little. Pauline, tell us, who are you and how did you end up in this group, with Amin and Nina of all people, right?
Okay. That's true actually. So who am I? Seekor orang.
Seekor orang.
Basically, by profession, I'm a corporate and performance coach. I actually have a training provider company that I've run ever since I graduated college. So I've never worked for anybody before, thanks to my uncle who gave me this advice that you don't have to work for anybody. The certs are just a cert, right? So I did training and all that. And I actually, prior to this, I have never known Nina or Amin before. So I've only met them 3 years ago? No, 4 years ago.
BMW, but BMW training.
I met Amin first in Phuket because he was looking for a group of facilitators and we had a common friend who dragged me along. So I thought I needed a holiday. So I said, why not, since it's paid for, right? And Amin was so generous. Let me tell you this.
Wow.
He actually ordered 3 lobsters for a group of 10 people. The highlight of
out on
the
this
event was the lobster and his generosity, of course, right? So after we finished all of that, I met Nina in BMW, which was like the following month training. And that's how we actually got to know each other, but it was more on a very surface level.
Okay.
Okay.
Never mind.
So one day Amin asked me out, go and have brunch. And he was just selling me this idea, hey, do you want to be, part of a team where on a yearly basis, we can just organize just this one conference, like how this event company brings the international football team over and it's only just once a year. He sold me this brilliant idea, just do this corporate conference once a year. Lepas tu, you can retire for the next 10 months.
Yeah. You can make lots of money.
Yeah, so he used the
why
money
you calling
thing.
me Amin? What is this?
I think Amin sold them off with the lobster thing. So they were too drowned with the lobster thing in their mind. They think that yes, it's possible in any way. Whatever he says will be the greatest idea ever.
That's true. Whatever he said was very sexy back then because I wanted out. I wanted out of the corporate game because training is tiring. There's a lot of price war and all that, and I'm getting old. I mean, I'm still younger than them, but I'm getting old. So I said, so without thinking much, right, I just trusted him and I said, okay. And that's how Popcon started. Popcon started as an event company that was meant to host a yearly conference, but it never happened.
Okay, you know what? I have a different version to this story.
I like that they have all various different versions.
No,
of it.
let me
Exactly.
add this to you first. So popcorn, basically the word corn means con me into the business.
It's being
That's
popped,
the
it's being
best.
conned into it. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Actually, everyone was called to it. Yeah.
That's the best version I've heard so far, because I've heard Nina and Amin on different shows talking about this, right? Pauline, you said it so well. I like the way you look at the con.
I mean, kena con.
You
Yeah.
were the major con lah, Amin.
Because if you think about it, she's doing a lot of things. It's never a 1 month. It's never a one-off thing. It's a 12 months thing.
So would you say you're stuck with them for life now?
Pretty much.
Till that do us part, right?
No, actually, I kind of underestimated that one event. I thought it was easy to do.
He always underestimates, and we all have to pay for it.
So, Amin, do you have any comeback with the lobster story? Is there a different way it went by in your eyes?
Actually, no. No, it was true. I did con her into it. But the reason behind the con, right? Let me put a defense to this. Is because personally, on a personal level, I've been doing training for that was my 17th year of doing trainings. So prior to this, I own a lot of training companies. I have been involved in corporate trainings for about 17, 18 years. I think the biggest hit for me was in 2016. This is a true story. Yeah, I was actually delivering a training. It was the last training of the year, and it was the training that I told myself I'm gonna take a break after this, because my mother at that time was fighting cancer. Right, she's at stage 4 cancer, and I told myself that I'm gonna spend more time with my mother, and I'm gonna take a break. But during the training day itself, at about noontime, I received a phone call from my brother, and I have to choose between my work and my mom. So I made the decision, because there and then what happened was that I was the only person who's actually delivering the training. Number one, I don't have a team. Number two, I was only there by myself. And there and then I start to realize that I cannot do things on my own. That's one thing I realized, right? And I have dreams. I have bigger vision that I wanted to do, right? But to achieve that dream, I need someone to help me out and back me up in a situation like this. So I have to choose to stay, because at that time, clients were already paying. I can't escape. My mom passed away 2 hours later. So that was the real story. So it's a situation that I really do not want people to be in. By that time, I went through this whole 1 year of soul searching and basically asking myself, what is it that I really wanted to do? And the idea of basically helping people to not be in that situation just came along, but I really have no idea how to do it. So I was basically finding a different mechanism on how I can help people and make people better in whatever they're doing. And I think that social media is one of the paths, because I just feel that for a trainer or for a coach, if you really want to make a difference out there, if you really want to put your voice out there, right, you need to use social media as a way to do it. But my knowledge at that time was like really zero. Like the only way that I use social media is to basically complain on Facebook about certain things like politics and all that. That's the only thing that I know. Okay, post cat photo, make fun stuff on Facebook, right? Do weird stuff on Instagram. So those are the only things that I consume a lot of content, but I have no idea what is the pathway for coach or trainers or for people or for business owner like me at that time to really utilize social media as a way for me to do it. And I feel that if I were to make a difference in a classroom or in a training room, I can only make so much impact, right? So one training, I can only do maybe about 10, 15, max 1,000 people at one time. But if I can leverage on the power of media, then there's an advantage there, right? And then I start to connect back with all of my old friends and trying to figure things out. And then I found out that Nina was also in a pathway where she was also a bit confused with her work, and she's also been refrigerated apparently. So that's when we kind of like connect, right? We kind of like yeah.
It's so funny because everybody came together because of this BMW training in a way, and then we caught up with everybody because we've known each other for so long. Like how many years, I mean? Well, he figures out
before I started doing trainings.
Yeah,
I was a participant. Yeah.
I was a participant in the training as well, like a couple of years later. So that's how I know Amin, because we were all participants of this cult, Pauline also, but years later lah. So when Amin, when during BMW, I was going through this phase where I was miserable at my workplace. But I had this knowledge of social media, but how to do it and stuff like that, I didn't know. And then he conned me. This is his conduct to me. He was like, Nina, the reason I'm starting this company is because you're so miserable where you are. You can't stay there.
It was for you. It was for you.
Yeah, and then he pandai put me as the CEO, so that he gave the illusion.
You sure you're not from PR background?
No, he's from MFR background.
But she's good at it.
What is this BMW training that I'm so curious about? This is BMW training that I'm so curious about. That you get to meet these kind of people over there.
So honest truth was, during that year when I was confused, I actually took a break from training and I only do like a training project based on request, right? So I was actually cycling and cycling my wife to Phuket from my house to Damansara, and we just travel on my bicycle all over Thailand. And then whenever we have jobs and all that, I'll just dump the bicycle somewhere in Thailand and just fly back here. Yeah. So I got like a few gigs and training gigs, like BMW was one of it. So we had this one big giant corporate event for the BMW team in Malaysia. And I needed a huge facilitating team. So I'm talking about like 20 plus over to facilitator in that event. Mm-hmm. And I have like a few other team building programs that's happening at the same time as well. We have like one in Phuket. I had one in Vietnam. I had one in Lombok. So I was like really, that year was, I wanted to travel a lot, but it was a great year because I wanted to travel a lot and I got a lot of corporate jobs and traveling jobs, right? So that's when, I basically, the only intention I want for that year was I want to travel. I want to meet up with as many people as I can. I just want to connect back with old friends. And that's how this whole thing started. It's just connect. But I personally feel, right, this is something that I also feel, I don't believe that when it comes to job role, that I need to be the boss all the time. I think I've been managing company all this while and working with teams. I personally feel that every role in a company should be given to the person that's suitable for that role, right? So a lot of people think that, because you have the idea, so you need to become the CEO and all that, right? I don't think so. I personally feel that you need to put the person with the right job, with the right gift and the right capability to be in that position. Right. So that's the reason. And I
don't want it. I'm still in denial.
she doesn't want it, but I personally feel that she's the best person to represent Popcon, because the thing is, when it comes to Popcon, what I personally envision is that it has to be a social company. And I know my personality. I'm not that type of person who are very social. In fact, Nina will always think that I'm constipated all the time, but that's just me.
Honestly, right, Amin, in this journey of getting to know you, I mean, I've never met Amin before face to face yet, because of COVID. But in the last 2 years that I've gotten to know you, I feel that you've gone like on a journey, right? And talking about the social part, because I'm a very social person, loud. I mean, me and Nina are very similar in many ways. I feel that she's kind of rubbed off on you a lot.
Definitely. He's more relaxed, right? On camera.
I remember the first show that Nina, you called me on, right? When you first started.
That was episode 4 or 5.
Right? And Pauline was in the background and Amin was coming in and out. And he was just like, okay, do this. Then he go like, hi, everyone, But like when I've seen him on the shows this year, right? He's got that like, chilled,
Yeah.
He's
joy.
so comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's
and you know what? We make fun of his constipatedness, and now that he's embraced it, it's fine. Otherwise, it'll be like.
But I mean, props to you. I see no constipation.
After 1 year, is.
Episode berapa? How many episodes?
Almost 50 already, right?
In his defense, he was always in the back scene. You see, he came in and out. He was always in the back scene, and
he needs to have his own show. He needs to have his own show.
Yeah. But I told Nina, right? I kind of got to know all of you personally different in different kind of zones. Like I used to disturb Amin on Facebook and things like that. After that, and I think it's interesting the starting point of all of you and how you all came together. It's like you all had different personal journeys, right?
Yep,
But
yep,
it all came to that crossroad where it all made sense, right? And
yep.
oh, okay. We're talking about, Amin was talking about where you need to be depending on the roles that you have, right? So it's like, okay, Nina needs to be in this position because that's her personality, it fits. But all of you come from I would say all of you have very strong personalities. That be accurate to say? Accurate to say? Very strong personalities, right? So how does that dynamic work? Especially, I've met, I won't say I've met, but knowing all three of you, right? I feel that collectively you guys all have amazing ideas. I've heard you guys talk about things, and I told Nina sometime back, I said, Nina, Amin is like Yoda.
Yeah, he is.
I went for his
You know the amazing thing about him when you know why our stuff works, because he's so good, and when he coaches people, he will just say that one thing and then
Yeah.
they will start crying. I tell you, he just asked only. I can't do it. Betul
so
tak,
you
Polly?
got the body, the face, and then you got like
Yeah.
the Yoda wisdom, and then you got Pauline all keeping them down because sometimes like they go up and like, okay, calm down.
Oh no,
I
no,
mean,
we let them float. It's okay. When they want structure, Pauline comes in.
Pauline comes in to keep it.
Yeah.
Which
We
is
don't
really
believe
simple,
in
right?
we don't believe in pulling people down, because to go up is already so hard. So let them float.
Yeah.
So how does this work? How does this dynamic work? The three of you, right? How
I
does
mean,
it
you
work?
tell your version and then I tell my version.
My version of this, I'm assuming that everyone kind of like are big enough to understand that if we were to do the work, it's nothing personal, right?
yeah.
So we can scream at each other. So this behind the scene, right? You have not seen us doing meetings behind the scene. People get scared.
Yeah.
I mean, like we have staff who used to work with us prior to this who got scared with us as well, because we are very blunt with each other. There's just us. We are
We
straightforward. We are
cry
direct.
man, and we're okay.
Yeah, we are
And then
okay with
we're
that
like,
because I think for the three of us, we have something bigger than our own ego or our own stuff that we need to focus on. Because sometimes I personally also I have my own way that I wanted it to be a certain way, but when each of us are allowed the space to just voice out and speak, right, that's when the magic happens, right? So for me, it's just about trusting that it's not personal, but each one of them wanted things to be better. So sometimes we are you have to understand, three of us, we are very strong and very opinionated in terms of things, very strong. But we allow each other to just be the way we want to be because there's always something bigger than our own ego, and I think we are big enough to understand this. I think perhaps even the training that we attended prior to this have helped us to be the cult or whatever it is, right? Help us to be whoever whatever we're doing today. But that's the way we do things. It's just be honest, be truthful, and just allow people to be whoever they need to be and just speak up. Yeah, that's my version of this. I don't know about Pauline though. What do you think, Pauline?
Pauline, I mean, before you start, right, Pauline, I keep on hearing the word cult. It's like cult brought you together, right? So what is this cult? You have to tell us.
So this cult is basically a leadership program that we all have been through, and it's really tough. It's like 5 months journey, all inclusive, the 3 different stages. And in there, what they do is they really stretch your comfort zone to test you, not in terms of the results that you want, but in order to have that results, it's really about like what characteristic, what values do you need to have in order to bring you to get the results. So in all of that, right, basically to us, it's all about being authentic, being clear with who we need to be in order to get what we want. So whenever we run like daily Zoom meeting in the morning, the meeting, like what I mean say, it's never nice. And sometimes it gets really hard to listen, that you feel that your ego, right, wants to just come out, shout, and eat them up, No, it's serious. But what I like about it is it is a safe environment where the three of us are allowed to be that, to speak our mind, because if we were to keep it and to shove it under the carpet, this relationship where the company is right today will never work, because we have our own agenda. And if we are not honest with one another, we don't vocalize our thoughts, we will always feel like a lot of negativity, which is something we do not preach in our community, which is why for us, we always want to champion, the sense of belonging, to give them that safe space to just be who they are with us, because only then can growth happen. So that's what we do lah.
I think that's a really great point, right? I feel that you guys have come to a point where you're very comfortable with each other. So you acknowledge that they are those emotions, and all of us go through them when we work with teams, especially when you're working with a strong personality. And if that so-called ego thing that we claim doesn't come out, right? It's usually we just put it under the carpet and we just go like, okay, now mind, let's not waste our time talking about it. But the fact that you
Because
bring it
if you're
out,
suppressing it, and then you're switching it into the silent mode kind of treatment, then that's where problems will start to escalate, because you already have this, you already have this hidden thorn in you that it's just going to make it worse when issue starts arising.
Which is why we like to believe that Popcon, we do not practice the Asian culture where we keep everything and just suppress, but we try to just vocalize and move on with life.
Also, I think okay, definitely the cult that we joined really helped, because that helped us understand our personalities and our come from. And then us also as a team, we're very we're hardcore training junkies, I would say. If there was a drug, training will be it, and we will all go and we're like, oh my god, this is amazing, we love training, and I have to say, Amin, this is my version, Amin, without realizing it, kind of picked the right people for the team, the right dynamics. He was basically building like a boy band or a girl band without realizing it, and everybody had a part to play, kind of thing. And I think the amazing thing about the team dynamics is we know each other's nerdiness. I don't know how to explain nerdiness or flaws. Our kampong, the way we will go back to our safety net, and then we also understand why each person is being stubborn and fighting for things. We know it's not personal. We know that it's for the betterment of the community. So that is why we feel that it's easy for us to communicate whether we're angry or we're crying, because when you're angry or you're crying, it's still a form of communication. It has to come out. When you're angry, it just means that I'm not being heard. I'm not getting what I want. It's a cry for help. That's all. And we're so fortunate that we've gone through a lot of trainings. We understand this, and we don't hold it responsible to that other person.
That's amazing. We have a question from the audience, right? So we have a lot of young people tuning in. Some of them are students, right? And they have a lot of teamwork and things like that. And I think, as Pauline pointed out, right, in the Asian community, even for us working in academics, right, there are a lot of times when you work with certain group dynamics, it's very hard. Like at one point, sometimes you just think, you should just keep quiet, right? So Yizhen says, wouldn't you guys feel awkward after shouting at each other and expressing all that emotions? How does that work, or how did y'all pass through that? I guess it has to start somewhere, right? Before y'all became okay. Like, what was that point, and how did y'all go through it?
Okay. My confirm for this will be this. At the end of the day, each and every one of us are human, right? So there will be a time that you feel like, oh man, Nina ni what lah? Kau dah lempang. Right? Like, it's normal. But the thing is, I think we've kind of like passed that stage. So what I notice works for me is that if I feel that way, I'll just take a step back and say, okay, guys, I just need I need time off, right? I just need to digest this. And what I like about this team is that they kind of know that, and they kind of give that space as well, right? So we kind of know the limit, but to be in that situation, it is a lot of work. Not everyone are comfortable with it, so the context needs to be set up early. I mean, we do have team members that came to us prior to this who are not part of the team. They're not comfortable with it. But I think for us, the main important thing that we want to make sure is that even though they are not part of the team, we want to make sure that we always leave things better off. That's it.
Yeah.
All right.
We
Always
have
leave
a
things better off.
motto: always leave things better off. Always leave places and people better off. You know.
I think what's
Yeah.
important here really is about always asking permission. So if you're like just a new team or in a new department whatsoever, you cannot just jump to like, hey, you know what, this is my emotion, this is how I feel, deal with it. That's
Yeah.
totally very arrogant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you always need to take a step back and remember every individual have their own experiences and perspective in life, right? And you cannot always be trying to understand where they are. But the most important thing is to ask for permission. Hey, can I just get a permission for you to share how what I'm feeling right now? And if they say yes, then you have that space.
Mhm.
But you don't go until drag everybody's energy down. So it's just that. But what's important is you need to set the culture first as such as it is okay.
Yeah. So with our team, I think very early on, we set the boundaries. We were very clear and we have permission with each other to go that way. So I wouldn't recommend for you to go in your uni or to your company and start having a meltdown because you do
Nope.
not have that permission. They will think
Yeah.
you're psycho. I can tell you that. Okay.
Yeah.
But with Amin and Pauline, like for me, I feel it's safe for me to, like when even now, like I get a rejection when it comes to sales because we're always onboarding students at the same time. I'll go to Amin and I got rejected. But so they know that I need some love. Let's put it that way, okay? Kind of things like, oh, well, how can I be better and stuff like that. So I know that I can always go to them and tell them this is what's happening. I know I'm full of shit, but can you tell me how it can be better? Yeah. And most importantly, the important thing is you need everybody, like what Amin said, you need to let off that steam. So knowing yourself is very important. Like where's the line, what you want, how much space you need, but you need to be very alert and aware, self-aware. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's a really great point, right? I think the main one of the main things you guys said is also depends on the environment that you're in. It has to be a seasoned environment. You can't just suddenly go in expecting that these things will work. It takes time for you to build that as well. Because
Yeah, exactly. To
people
share
don't
with
know
you,
who they go there.
when we first started, that's when we were having a lot of fights and screaming and stuff like that. But we always go for lunch after that. So we know it's not personal. So that helps set the tone that, you makan together because, and here's the thing, families like that, you fight, you scream at each other, but you're still together. And like a little child, somebody was saying, if it's bad, a little child, when they get hurt, they fall down, then they move on with life. So we are a big believer that you need to, and then, you move on. Yeah. But you don't judge like that person for going through, whatever stuff they need to go through. Yeah.
I think that's a very great point. So we have a lot of comments coming from the audience talking about diffusing situations that I think you guys have already answered. What is the professional way to ask and how do we deal with it? My next question was actually about how do you complement each other? But I think we already get that idea of how you complement each other through what you guys have said, right? And I think it's a very, very beautiful dynamic. And I think that's why you all work so well together, even though you all are strong personalities and y'all are very different from each other, but it fits so well, like a very nicely placed jigsaw puzzle. So that's why the popcorn works. It pops very well. I think that's why it works very well. So moving on, one thing that we were talking about backstage, right? I said that myself and Yi actually went for Amin's training, LinkedIn training, right, at the very beginning. I think of last year, was it? And during his training, we got a bit of that Yoda-ness that I told Nina about, right? About his
Yoda
wisdom and what he brought. And I think I have to give you props. I mean, if because of you, I think my headline is because of you, basically, right? My headline, my banner, how I've recreated myself on LinkedIn, I would say is largely due to you. And when you talk
I would
about
say that my
LinkedIn,
banner was due to Amin's talk. But I wouldn't say it's the best lah, but at least I have a banner. Seriously, before this, I have no banner. I was like,
Well
Well,
done.
I mean,
Well done.
you should put impacted more than God knows how many LinkedIn banners since so and so.
that has converted how many banners into
Yeah,
you can
that's
personalize.
amazing.
Wow.
I'm the Yoda of banners on LinkedIn.
And I stalked him even before going to his training. I went and checked out his entire profile, how he wrote things. So before I went for the training, I was already starting to write my headline in his style and stuff like that. And one of the things I noticed in Amin's headline was he wrote something about his vision to build the first Southeast Asia business influencer school, right? And this year, I saw that change. It like materialized, right? And it's so amazing to see something from a vision. So I was doing like, oh, this guy has a vision to do this. And now he's like, I'm the founder of this. So I mean, I want to know what was the journey or the story of this business influencer school, right? Because where you all started, right? How did you come to this place here where you're talking about a business influencer school? And from your profile or your headline, I know that that was something already in your mind.
Okay.
So what's the journey like?
Okay, so this is related back to what I con Pauline in the first place, where we're supposed to do
The
an
conference,
event,
the
the
conference.
conference thing, right? Yeah. So actually, the main idea of the conference came from me consuming too many YouTube channels. So I don't know if you know these YouTubers, Casey Neistat, Peter McKinnon, right? People like Dan Brown. These people inspires me because whenever I consume their material, I look at it and say, I want to be like them. I want to be creating stuff like that, because whenever I watch it, I feel inspired. I feel like I want to do something, right? So I was checking this thing called this one big huge event in the US called VidCon, right? It was VidCon, yeah.
Not
And at that
Bitcoin,
time,
Bitcoin.
VidCon, yes, VidCon.
Yeah.
So I was checking it out. I was imagining that I'm going to go for that event one day. And then at that time, Nina was in MDEC and she has no idea about this event. And then she got sent there for free. Okay.
So
Like,
you got jealous for
Lucky,
it.
yeah.
I got like super jealous. And me and my partner, Joe were like, bloody hell, I want to go. And then this person don't want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was so cute because did you meet this? Did you meet that? Did you meet that? I'm like, who the fuck? I don't know. Who are these people? And I pass by these people on the floor and I don't know who the hell they are. And when I
Yeah.
come back, they tell me, Nina, and I was like, whoa. And I missed out. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Correct. So the existence of Popcon actually came from a manual that Nina brought back. It was actually a magazine guide of all the talks that was happening in VidCon, right?
And I
So
came back
Nina
with
showed it. She came up with two, and she showed it to me, and I said,
that was the Bible.
two. That was the Bible. That was the start of Popcorn content.
Yeah.
And she brought it to me. I said, this is gold, Nina. We need to do something like this in Malaysia. Because the problem with Malaysia is that we have a lot of people who wants to create content, but they do not know how to do this, right? So that was when I started looking around and finding ways on how can we make this happen, right? So I meet up with a lot of people, and Pauline is actually one of it. And we gathered, and then we came up with this idea. Let's find a way to do this. I underestimated the the challenges, because here's the thing about me. When I say I want to do something, I'll find a way to do it. I don't think too much about. Yeah, I really just langgar. I want this. I'll find a way to do it, right? But I didn't know, and I underestimated that there's a lot more work to creating a conference. Okay, number one, nobody knows us. Number two, we have no idea what this whole business influencer thing is about, or influencer marketing is about, right? But the good news is Nina, because of her involvement in MDEC, she kind of like knows certain things, and she has a
Bitcoin.
because of Bitcoin. Yeah.
I went there and I sat until my arm hurt. I was writing notes, writing. So I knew what was going on, but I didn't know the details of how to do everything. You know,
yeah. We saw the title of all the talks, and we had major orgasm just by looking at the title.
Yeah,
whoa,
that's how
this is so cool.
Mm.
They were excited. So we wanted to create an event like this, but then we kind of underestimated it, and then we gathered back again and said, okay, let's start small. Why not we do a free community event first and see the response from this, right? And January 2019, or is it 18? 2018. We started our first event, and that event we've actually found a place. We got it for free, all right?
Because we're hustlers.
Because we are hustlers. Dina managed to get a few of her connections to come in and speak for free, right? 3 of them, right? And one
Uh,
of them is
two.
Jared Lee. 2 of them,
Jared
yeah.
Lee, because I'm connected to him and he's a YouTuber with almost 200,000 subscribers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a guy who was helping people with social media.
That's it. So we decide, okay, you know what? Let's do this event and see the response. And we were surprised because a lot of people actually turned up because we're like, hey, where do all these people come from, right? So a lot of people actually want to learn, but they do not know how to do this. That was the start. The start is just do the event first and see what happens, right? And we continue doing the event on every 2 months, right? Just to
Something
see.
like that, yeah.
Okay,
So
so
we
at
did
that time,
about 6 in the first year.
correct. So we wanted to do Popcon first. Popcon stands for popular content. It's called Popcon Fest. So we had a few round of Popcon Fest, and then we look at it and say, hey, you know what? There's something here. I think we really need to be very serious with this, right? Let's put our arms in. So the first year, there was not even a company. It's just a group of people coming together, wanted to do something. That's it, right? Then the second year, we came together again. We took one of the dormant company that I have, change it, rebrand it, and that's when the whole entire journey starts. Why is it that I wanted to do business influencers? Because of this, I started to realize that when we did the first year, when we were doing the event, right, we have a lot of community of influencers, right? We're talking about travel influencers, lifestyle influencers, and all that. But it's very sad to know that in Malaysia, the influencers is actually divided based on race. So you have the Chinese urban influencer in one category. Then you have the Indian influencer in one category, and then you have the Melayu group in their own category. And then the Melayu group also have their own like different branches.
Yeah, I think besides of just the races, but also they divide it into certain kind of niche categories.
Exactly.
Like into fashion,
Languages as well.
Yeah.
Languages as well. Right. So we have a group, a whole group of dynamic creators that is not unified. That's what I feel. We are not unified.
They're not connected to each other
They're not
because they
connected
don't
to each
know
other,
of
right?
each other.
They don't know each other, right? And here's the thing. For me, I'm at the end of the day, I'm still Malaysian, and it's quite sad because we actually had a conversation with one of this very famous influencer. We're talking about like someone who has about 500,000 followers and all that, right? And I asked him a very simple question, bro. Don't you think that you can go global? And you know what he said? No lah, cari makan Malaysia enough already. These are Malaysian.
What is it
Huh?
with that? It's not the first time I've heard that, right? I mean, whether
Yeah,
it's
no.
LinkedIn or
It's a
Indian
glass ceiling that
influencer.
we put on ourselves. We
Yeah,
think
like
It's a
that
glass
our
ceiling.
content is
My
only
content
for
is only
Malaysians. Yeah.
Exactly.
We don't know where that glass ceiling comes from, but it's there.
This is me who do not have skills, and I'm looking at them and say, "What?
Yeah, it's so
Come
unique,
on."
right?
Yeah. So I look back and say, you know what? This cannot happen. I want to create a league of influencers that will take over the world. Because the thing is about Malaysia. Here's the thing about Malaysia. I'm still patriotic when it comes to this. Yeah, we are at the center of everything. We have like 3 of the best races in the world here, right? The Malays, the Indian, and Chinese coming together. And these are the 3 most populated race in the world, right?
Exactly.
And whenever I go to YouTube, when I want to learn about outdoor stuff, I'm learning all of this from all the Mak Saleh who's talking to me about tropical outdoor gear.
Yeah.
Why is
When
it
I
that our
live
people,
in a tropical
It's
outdoor
true.
gear.
I kind of agree as well.
That is
It's
such
like,
a great point. Oh my
you want to
god.
learn about for example, people want to learn about doing makeups, how to learn how to do your makeups. You're learning it from Westerners, Caucasians, when their facial features and ours doesn't seem to match
Exactly.
anymore. So why
Exactly.
exactly, right?
Yeah.
So my biggest motivation right now is that I'm super triggered that we are not out there selling ourselves. We are not out there selling our culture. We are not out there doing things that can basically promote us, because we can actually do a lot of stuff. But the thing is, I'm very limited when it comes to my resources of the influencers, because the only thing I know is business, right?
Yeah.
And that's my core. And I always believe that if I want to make a difference, I make sure that I focus on what I'm good at. And that's the idea of when Nina came in and kind of like figured out the idea. There are many types of influencers. You just need to find out which one is the best for you. Which one you're comfortable with? I'm
That's
comfortable
when
with
we found Jenny Joan,
exactly.
and she was the game changer for us.
She's the game changer for us, and
Yeah.
we start to look at a lot of other business influencers, and we got inspired. So
Yeah.
what we really wanted to do, our biggest vision for this is that we really want to bring out all the Malaysians up, right? And I think the best region in the whole entire world right now is Southeast Asia, because we take a look at even all the Quailos, all the Matsali, or whatever that we call them, right? Even the Westerners are looking at us now.
Yeah.
But it's also our responsibility to take charge. So if we are not taking charge, if we are not promoting our own culture, then who's going to do it?
I think that's a really good point, right? And I think it has a lot to do with our culture itself, that whole ingrown thing. And we talk a lot about it in class as well, right? About how we feel that we are lesser, we are more superior than us, so we are not
White
good enough.
supremacy,
Yeah.
the fear of talking with Caucasian. They feel oh, my English is not good
Yes.
enough, that kind
Correct.
of thing, which
Correct.
I find it, I've been constantly trying to push my students to say, please break out from this whole notion. I
Mentality.
think,
Yeah. Even
okay.
conferences, right? All the conferences in Malaysia, right? 99% of their speakers are all Caucasian. When
Yeah,
we
exactly.
have amazing speakers right here in Malaysia,
Exactly.
all in that field, and that's why, right? When you talked about the Southeast Asia Business School in your profile last year, I was so intrigued with it. And another person that I really like is also Azlin, right? Azlin is doing marketing in Asia, right? Why a lot of people want to focus on other places or who they promote. When I spoke to Azlin as well, I mean, I did an interview with him, and the things he says, right? I really feel that you guys are people who are gonna, when we talk about what we do, me and Xiaoshan, lift as you rise. You're really lifting as you rise, because you're taking your own people and you're helping them come up from what they have that potential, they have that resources, but it's just that they haven't come to that point where they feel that they are good enough, And Daniel says, Daniel from the comment section, right? Daniel Idris says, is it a bad thing that you're content with the Malaysian market?
contented with Malaysian market. It's
Yeah.
not say it's bad thing, right? I think it's just that they don't know that they can actually go further.
I think it's the belief system, and that was what we were not okay with, because here's the problem, and we see it in our students, right? The problem is the Malaysians think their content can only go as far as Malaysia, and they're only good enough for Malaysia. That one, wow, we cannot stand. We get hot when we think about it. Because if you think about it, who's the best person at being a Malaysian? A Malaysian. You cannot have a guy from India coming to Malaysia trying to be a Malaysian. You can't have a Mat Saleh trying to be a Malaysian. So we're so unique. Nowhere else in the world do we live with the Malay, Indian, Chinese. And we're very inappropriate with each other, but we don't fight with each other. You know what I mean?
We try to promote. I mean, I try to promote to my students as well to be proud with Bahasa Rojak, because it's so like, who the hell can mix 3 different languages in one sentences and understand what we're talking about? But they're like, oh, but this is a broken English. It's not a proper sentence.
I mean, just look at how successful So I'm Jen is,
Yeah.
And how can you not adore her, for example?
Yes. I mean, just there's so many things. Drew Binsky came out with a video, Chindian. What is a Chindian? Got 1.5 million, God knows how many million views. That is so unique to Malaysia. But guess what? The Singaporeans take it. So when are Malaysians going to rise up to the occasion and start speaking and being proud of themselves?
Because we're really bad with marketing.
We're very bad with attaining awards, because Singaporeans like to just
But do you know what's really interesting? Because we always run our Just Longer show every Thursday, right? And we've been inviting some of the Mat Saleh speakers and all that, and they tell us that most of their contracted staff are Asian based, and they are so capable that actually they should step out of their comfort zone to be influencers. And a lot of the Mat Saleh speakers are actually saying that Asia are more talented than the Western world.
Okay,
So it's
here's
really
the
a
thing.
mindset and belief thing.
Okay, here's the thing. I was in Petronas. We paid so much money to Boston Consulting Group. Let me tell you, consulting to con you, okay? To tell us things we already know.
No,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, so we pay them millions of dollars to tell us things we already know. And here, and I saw this while I was in Petronas, while I was studying in UK. Malaysians or Asians have so much in them to give, but we just don't talk or we don't brag about it as the Westerners do. But and this is so true with all our students. They've got so much, but they're so scared to open their mouth. So our job is actually to push them to say, okay, do this, talk like this, be proud of yourself, be perasan, you need to perasan, go, 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 go. You langgar. That is our job, you know, and slowly they start coming out of their shell, you know.
And another thing that I also start to realize is that when we started doing this, it's not just a Malaysian, it's an Asian thing, right?
Yeah.
So when I was traveling to Thailand, it's the same thing. When I was in Singapore, it's the same thing. We have so much story to tell
Yes.
as a region, right? We're talking about Southeast Asia as a whole region.
Look at Thailand and the way they advertise their storytelling is, oh my God, the
Their
bomb.
advertisements are like top notch. You know, I think
I love them.
I love their advertisements. It's really creative. Like, where the hell you get that kind of idea from? It's impressive.
Exactly. So one of my favorite channel right now is Vice, Vice Indonesia. And if you take a look at some of the stories that they actually put in YouTube, it's amazing stuff. Now, the other day I was watching this one story about a group of debt collectors who are all from Papua New Guinea, but basically they are being seen as some the kind of group category of people who people will hire because they look scary. Now that those are interesting story, right? We talk about Malaysia, for example. We have things about cultures that we have not heard about. Story about Mak Yong, Dikir Barat, right? So if you go to Sabah and Sarawak, there's a lot of other stories there as well. But how come we are not listening to all of these stories?
No,
Right.
instead we have like, you know, mat rempit.
Because we're not.
Yeah,
Right. Even mat rempit is a Malaysian culture, which is fine.
exactly.
If we can train the mat rempit, they can be the next motorsports. You know, that's what I believe. You know, you gotta channel it properly. Yeah.
So
You know, one of the
gangsterism. We have our 3 different kind of gangsters in our back end. You know what is it?
Yeah, and for those who are scared with language, I tell you, Malaysian language is amazing. Our Manglish. If you have the mat salib, do you want to go there? You have to go straight, and then with us, it's just, where you want to go? Huh? There, there lah. You get what I mean? It's so short form that we need to start embracing it rather than bringing each other down. You know, because we're so busy doing the Mexican crap thing, I guess. You know, when we should be doing what your show is called, lifting people as we go.
I thought it was the Indian thing. No offense, but
No, I think it's a Malaysian thing. For some reason, we think that it's better to bring people down, so they berpijak di bumi yang nyata when we need to bring everybody up.
So let's talk about online positioning, right? So we know that you guys started your Just Langgar show, and just for the audience knowledge, as we have some students from China, I think Mauritius also tuning in, right? And maybe from different countries, right? So Just Langgar, like, how do we put it? Just Langgar is, how do we translate that in English?
Just do it.
Crash it.
Do it, just crash it.
Let's crush it.
Like,
Yeah.
don't think so much.
Yeah.
So you guys started your Just Langgar show last year, right? In March, was it March or April?
Yep. Pandemic.
Much.
Tell us
March.
about it, right? How did y'all start? Because like what Amin said earlier, right? You guys started, it wasn't like you were influencers already. You started somewhere, right? So how did y'all start positioning yourself first? How did that online positioning begin?
Okay, the first episode doesn't even have a title. we just langgar. We just went out. In fact, I came out, and the only thing that I wanted to do at that time was that I just want to interview someone. And at that time, we were really finding our way because the pandemic just happened. Everything got cancelled. Bear in mind that before the pandemic, we were still doing classes face to face, and then things were not doing really well for us that particular week because everything just got cancelled one by one. And Pauline came to me and said, "I mean, you better got to do something. Can you just do something? go out there and go live now, because we've been telling people to just go live and all that, right? So, and what happened was one of our friend, his name is Keanu, suddenly went viral, right? So he did this whole remote shopper thing, and then after that, I don't know if you heard about that remote shopper. The husband don't know what to
Yes, the
buy.
husband was wife or something like that who went
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, exactly. So his post become viral, right? So like hundreds and thousands of people are actually sharing it. And I was just curious to know what was the secret behind it, right? So I went and approached him and said, "Bro, can I just interview you? What is it about? I have no idea, bro. I just want to interview you. We're just going to go live, okay?" So the only requirement that you need to have at that time is, number one, you just need to have an internet connection, right? Use StreamYard, because StreamYard is free, right? You don't need to charge. You don't need to pay anything.
Wait, at that time, we didn't find it was Zoom.
No. Oh yeah, we are using Zoom.
We
We
didn't
don't
have
even use StreamYard. We use Zoom.
I use Skype as well.
Exactly.
Remember?
Yeah.
What are you
Skype,
as well?
eCam.
We were testing everything, right? I mean, technically,
Skype
I
was
definitely.
Ecamm.
eCam.
And then after that, we tried eCam and all that. But we just need to have a platform to go live. Someone that are willing to be interviewed, and then just go.
Langgar.
I just went to Keanu and said, "Okay, bro, I don't have a structure. Right now, the only thing I want to know is that I just want to be in discovery. I'm just going to ask a few questions." Okay. So the good news is the guy that we interviewed is actually quite good at answering questions. Okay. So lesson number one: find someone that's good at doing what you're doing, so that they kind of like compliment you, right? That was the whole thing. The second episode was a big lesson for me, because I was struggling to get the person to answer my question, and I'm not getting it. So as I go and as I progress, it become better and better, right? Then after that, Nina came in on the fourth episode, and then she's more structured. She has her whole emceeing and hosting experience. She put that into the whole structure. So that's when the whole thing starts.
I also did a lot of homework,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So
Which
I was
I don't.
learning as we go.
Read
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. So she puts structure into it. She puts homework into it. And that's when everything starts to become better and better. So the first few episodes, guys, you're going to suck at it anyway. So you just need to go out. If you want to go live, these are the only few requirement you need to have. You just need to have a very good microphone. And you don't even need to have like a good microphone. You can use the Apple
This one.
earphone and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Internet connection and Zoom.
Yeah,
That's it. You can go live with these three things.
No other excuse.
No other excuses. That's how we started, right? Now this whole entire buying mic and setup and all that comes in
If you
later.
have a phone, also you can. You just go like that.
Yeah.
It all
No need
starts
to
with a
think
decision, basically, because you'll
Yeah.
never be 100% ready. Once you have that decision, the solution will come on its own.
Yep. But we're lucky. Okay, for me, I came in the fourth episode because I was trying to make everything perfect. So I'm very lucky that Pauline kicked Amin's butt, and then Amin went out and did it. And here's the beautiful thing about Amin: he doesn't need to be perfect. And I was like, first 3 episodes so bad. Because I'm a perfectionist. And then he invited me to talk about TikTok in the 3rd episode, and then I was like, cannot be, this is very bad. Popcorn's name is there, I have to do something. So that's how I get started. And once one
Hey,
foot is
but that was a horrible episode. I gotta tell you straight out, it was horrible.
the baby,
You want to
was
know why?
crying.
We have baby crying in the back. We have chicken. So that
My chickens were going off, So
the guests
Yeah.
keep popping in and out. I'm like,
everything that could go wrong happened in that
Happened
episode.
to the episode.
And then I was like, fuck it, man. Popcorn is looking so bad. I need to come in and save because I'm all about looking good, So then I was like, fuck you. I mean, I'm taking over. Oh, sorry, FU came out. Yeah. But the beautiful thing about Amin is he allows me to be my OCD self,
because I'm not supposed to be out in the
You were
first place.
supposed to run everything.
You're supposed to be behind.
I was
is it?
trying to be perfect. So he kicked my butt lah, basically. So that's what happened. And then
So
we
I got what I wanted at the end of the day.
yeah, he got what he wanted. So yeah.
He made it so bad that you have to step in and do it, right?
No,
That
but
was
the
his
beautiful
strategy
thing-
all along, isn't it?
No. I needed to have that it's okay to go, because I needed to be hello TV host. Oh, it has to be perfect. Where's the video? Where's the montage?
So you were not fully in the Just Langgar vibe yet at that point of time.
No,
No,
she was
at that
not.
time, Nama also don't have one. And then we were like, what to call this episode? And then there was some politically correct name, something stupid, And then can we just call it Just Langgar? Then we have a disclaimer if we fail. And then Pauline's friend said, just Langar is very catchy. And we're like, okay, look. And then now the Mat Sali is going, just Langar. Yeah, we're excited to be in just Langar. And I feel so proud when I invite them. I tell them just Langar. In the local language, it means blah, blah, blah. So.
Yeah, it's so authentic, right?
Yeah.
It's so Malaysian. I love that
Very
part of
Malaysian.
it. So
Yeah.
Malaysian.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's nice to hear how you all kind of got your groove together. And it also reminds those people, budding content creators, right, that you all start somewhere, right? And you have to start taking that step. And I mean, Yi has been with me on this journey where we started this. We started around the same time, and
About March as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Same time,
We had the same thing as well. Remember, it's like just don't see our first few episodes. It was very bad. We were just trying out, and the problem with us is at least you were lucky to find someone who can help you to ask more questions. I mean, our case is we have too many big speakers out there, and we combine them all in one cluster, and we have like, oh my gosh, it's everywhere. It's like, this person is talking, that person is talking, who else is talking?
You know who actually inspired me to go for the first episode?
Yeah.
It was this YouTuber by the name of Mark Wins. I don't know if you heard of him.
Oh, yes.
The foodie
Yeah.
Yeah.
The foodie dude. So whenever he
And
eats, right,
right?
and he likes the food, his face like, ooh, he likes to do that kind of face, right?
Yeah.
really bad taste, man. That
Really bad face.
Pauline hates him.
Yeah. So I got to give him credit for this because why? He has produced like hundreds and hundreds of video now, and his follower now I think about 7 million followers. His average video views are I think about a few hundred thousands and all that. But what I was really inspired was that when I go back to his first video, it was one of the lousiest YouTube video I've seen. So when I saw that, it triggers me. You need to start somewhere first.
Yeah.
That's why. So you need to start somewhere first. Your first few video is the most important and crucial. The first 100, the first 100 video is the most important and crucial content piece that you need to create.
Yeah.
Because that is the one that one day people will always want to look back.
Yeah.
The thing about being an influencer is this. It's not like an idol, like when you see movie stars and all that anymore now. The way you see influencers is that you want to grow with influencers.
Yes.
Whoever that you see that you admire and you feel that the person is a person that can influence you, when you see their growth, you will feel that you are part of that journey. And that's the kind of game that you want to be, right? So the attention is not about I'm the best person and all that. You want to develop the skill of learning and growing as you're creating content.
Together.
That's the best way to do it. Yeah.
Which
I
is
think in a
why,
way-
like what you say, he's no longer
Yeah.
constipated because he's done
Yeah.
50 episodes.
Yeah.
and he's
But
passionate
anyway-
right now.
The first few one is our proudest.
First and one is the most proudest. You just need to go out there and do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about before we go into community building, right? I want to hear a little bit about your students, right? Because your students are not exactly like students. You get what I mean? Like they are
students,
managers, like our students lah, in uni, right? Your students are basically managers of their own companies. You have CEOs. You have people who have like vast amounts of experience in their field. So how does it work with you guys trying to teach them about online positioning? Because we're talking about people who already have certain understanding of how things work, right? How did you guys get them to understand online positioning and the concept of going out there? Like for us to get our students to open the cameras, I'm sure from the comment section, if I mention this, you can see it. I mean, it's hard as it is, right? You're getting them to come out now and do videos, and I've seen a lot of your students and also you guys, you've been recognized on like Marketing in Asia, in regards to being influencers and things like that. And your students have as well, right? Over the course of the last 2 years. So what was that journey like and what's the transition like for them? Maybe you can give us some examples.
Did I want to go with it, Tina?
Okay,
Pauline.
what do I answer? There's a lot of Paulina first. She's more structured. Okay, what do you want us to answer first? How do we teach
Which one do you
them?
wanna-
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Okay, even though they're CEOs and whatnot, when it comes to social media, their knowledge is usually zero. So we don't try and be the guru and stuff like that, but they call us cikgu. So funny thing. And we're like, oh, okay, yeah. And we love our students. So right from the word go, we sit down with them and we figure out what is it that they want, and then we work towards that. But here's what's happening. Branding in the olden age, before COVID, not before Christ. Now we see before COVID, after COVID. And even sales before COVID was all manual and face-to-face. But now we're living in a completely different age. And we love COVID because we were talking about this since 2018. Nobody listened to us. Suddenly COVID happened. They're like, Nina, I need help. That's right. That's what we said.
It kind of push people, right? It kind of push people to go like, hey, this is something important.
Yeah. So here's the data. By the time somebody comes to you to ask about something, they're already 60% in. Last time, you don't have this. You will know where they are in the buyer's journey. But right now, if the first thing when you hear about a product, what do? You Google. If there's no information about it, kind of thing, you're going to be left out. And people
it's like you don't exist, right? If you're not online these days, it's like you don't even exist anymore. And
if you're not a known company, that's even worse.
So we Amin came out with this thing where in before Christ, like COVID was disruptive marketing. It was about cold calling, spamming, advertising, But now we've shifted to this age where it's permission marketing. You got to go like, hey, you want to build relationship, give value, and then when they know you, like you, and trust you, they get warmer, and then they think you are their friend. And then you close them. So that's the way we do it now, lah. So that's what we teach our students, and I guess we kind of know it because we've been doing it since 2018. Because without realizing, all these talks was preparing us for the Southeast Asia's business school kind of thing. So we need to go really slow because we were once there. You know what I mean? Yeah. That sort of thing. Yeah.
For me, right, the game now is this. The game is about allowing people to buy when they're ready. That's the game. It's not about being in their face and selling stuff. You just want to be there the moment they are ready to buy. So in order for them to understand that you are there, that's when content comes in, right? Yeah. That's when the whole engagement comes in. You just need to be in their radar and say, hey, I'm here, if just in case you're ready to buy, right? Come and see me, right?
Yeah.
Right. So
did somebody say business influencer? Yeah.
Yes, I'm here, right? That's the game. And the problem is a lot of people, they are not willing to play that game. They are still very traditional in the way they do things. So for them, it's about, I want you to buy now. So if I want you to buy now,
game, right?
My message. Yeah, here's my message, and I want you to click on the link now, right? So you guys get this message before. Right?
Because
buy now.
What's missing is they don't hear the customers. They don't know what the customer's pain is, and the customer is very frustrated because you're not listening to me. And you're going to be talking about community marketing. This is where community marketing comes in. And if you see a lot of startups and stuff like that, the old ways of doing things has shifted to startups. And what do startups do? We look at the person. We look at the person can be categorized as a community. What is the pain that they're going through? And we solve that pain. Kind of thing. So what we do with our students is, in fact, when they come to us, they are validating, they're building their community, and they're building the community, collecting all this data and information with people of the same pain and problem. They're solving it and they're giving solution. This is the marketing of the future. Community marketing, authority marketing, and basically solving pains and problems, which is what startups are doing. So the old ways of doing things where you're just shoving down people's throat is no longer working. And a lot of people are struggling with this. For example, Sharina was talking about film. The reason why Malaysians film don't do well is because the Malaysian film directors are like, the audience don't know what they want. And we're like, no, we know what we want. It's just not your film because you never asked us, you know what I mean? Yes. Because the old way of doing things is the studios are sitting in the middle. We think this content will do well and this will do well, but nobody asked the audience. And now it has bypassed the middle people. It's gone straight. Yeah. There are companies who build communities first and then they come out with a product. That is how crazy the world has shifted. But so when CEOs of companies come and talk to us, they're like, most of the time after a presentation from me, usually you hear silence because, and I'm like, are you guys okay? Is something going on? They're like, you can hear the pin drop because they're shocked that this has happened. It didn't occur to them that this has happened.
I think it's very much in terms of how media has shifted as well, because it same goes with media and the new media, right? New media is the internet era. Because media last time is how is, okay, here's the programs, take it or leave it. If you don't like to watch the program at this time, you can tune into the next channel. That's the only options you can do. But now you customized your own content. You customized your own what I want to view, like, I want to view this, and then I go in and stream it and whatnot, now the customers are more, preference is more customized, so that shows that even the demands of the market is the same as well, and that's where the company has to shift their way of marketing as well.
Definitely. So you see companies shifting towards it, and even think, like Black Lives Matter, when it happened, all these people started wearing these Black Lives things. So if your company was not supporting, you're kicking people out because they're wearing and supporting this, the customers are willing to boycott you and not give you
because you're not listening to what they want and the sentiment.
So community is going to play such a big part that which is why companies, if they don't start paying attention to the sentiments of their customers, they're going to lose out big, kind of thing.
So Pauline, what do you think, Pauline, when y'all are dealing with some of your students, right, and like first time for them to create content, especially when it comes to video, someone has brought up a question here which I think relates as well, right? Does appearance affect people buying our product in any way?
The best thing about appearance.
What do you mean by
you
appearance?
Go ahead.
No, Pauline, go ahead. Go ahead. Because I'm going to add to whatever you said, Pauline.
How you know what I'm going to say?
I mean, I'm just going to add to whatever you say.
He called you before, Pauline. He knows you.
If you look at all the technologies that we have today, the apps and stuff like that, it's really about the creative play. For those who feel that they are not so confident with their appearance, you can actually use certain filters. I'm not talking about those China, where they do the mukbang where it's actually a fat woman and then it became like an alien face and all that. No, it's just a minor touch up and stuff like that. Or you can do like a comic characters and stuff like that. There's so many ways. But what's important is you got to look beyond appearance, because it is the personality, your charisma that will attract people.
Yep.
Because you see, right, a lot of them when they first start, you can always see that the appearance, right, it's not so well as compared to now, for example. So the most important thing here is, do you want to hide behind that reason? Or do you believe in yourself and the purpose that you have, that you just keep going and let the people who can relate to you, come to you, build that community.
Okay. To add to that, does appearance affect people's buying or product in any way? What I feel, so you need to make a distinction on this, right? The distinction is when you're good looking, either you like it or not, right? When people are scrolling, when you see someone's good looking, you will stop on it, right? Okay. So now, the only thing that it will do for now is that you will stop, you will take a look at it. That's it. The appearance attract attention, but does it? For now, does it actually translate to sales? Does it actually translate to sales? No, it doesn't. Right? True. I'm not the most good-looking person in the world, but I can still attract sales. Right? So the thing is, there are many reasons for it. So rather than looking at appearance, maybe what you want to focus on creating value for people.
Yes.
Because here's the thing. Tony Robbins is not the most good-looking person in the world.
I think he's cute.
Gary Vee is not the most good-looking person in the world, right? Casey Neistat is one of the most ugliest fellow I've seen.
Yes.
But take a look at the amount of people that's actually going to his channel and listen to his story, because everything that he creates is creating value. So for not so good looking people like me, we need to focus on something else. No, we're not good looking.
I really want to add to that. Casey Neistat is seriously ugly. No joke. Okay, I will not watch him. But here's why
I
love.
hope he's not listening.
I hope he does, because
I hope he does. But here's the thing. What I want you guys to understand, it's not about looks. It is about your energy. It's about your passion. It's about this thing inside you that you believe in more than anything. And that just translate across video and stuff like that, which people in the old broadcasting thing that does not understand, because they were filtering people based on looks and stuff like that. So it created this fake world, you know?
I mean, so when
to
add on to that, I mean, if you're talking about good-looking people, you don't have to look far. Go China. You throw a stone, you can hit a few good-looking people over there. You know, there's so many population of good-looking. Well, can you imagine if every single one of them want to be an influencer? How many of them can actually succeed? That's a very huge competition over there.
Which is why they are so extreme in their,
They have
videos.
factories there.
Yeah.
They have factories there, being
they have an
influenced.
influencer factory. They actually have an influencer factory.
You see, right? Appearance play a part in it, but at the end of the day, it also depends on your topic and your title, because that, if it gives the value, you will pull the crowd. And then your energy, the way you deliver, all that will come into play already.
Yeah.
Like, I've watched so many ugly people, but it doesn't matter because I enjoy it. And I don't even think they're ugly, honestly.
Like honestly, Casey Neistat is sexy to me. Never mind that he's ugly. There are some people whose face I think belongs that they ran into a wall, but damn, I think they're sexy. That's all I can say, because of what they stand for. You know,
You get used to their face anyway.
Yeah, you get used to it. Then you don't see ugly already. You're like, oh my god, handsome.
It's okay, what normal face.
Yeah. But seriously, I thought Casey Neistat was freaking ugly. Now I think he's handsome.
I
thought
think
you look
that's
like
a
Freddy
good call,
Krueger.
when we start to like someone, like their content, value, they become attractive to us, and that's why each of us see
true.
us differently, right?
Yeah,
Why for some people this person is handsome and the other person is not, is because of that connection you have with that person, the value, right? And I mean, even when I wanted to start going on video, I was so conscious of wanting to be on video. But I mean, I realized that LinkedIn and things like that was more about your content, the value, the engagement, and personality played a huge part. So I think that is very, very important as well.
True.
A lot of comments coming in.
There's a lot of pretty people, but they're just like that. And this is what we teach our students. You want to activate what's inside, be authentic, be real. You got to know your why. And it's the why that people give a shit about. It's not really what you do, it's your why. And that will have a haunting effect and will attract people towards you. You don't have to say anything. It just translates in the content, because social media does not lie. Which is why politicians are getting bitten in the ass in social media. Because they usually have udang di sebalik ini, when you got wrong intention, it will bite you in the ass. Yeah, that's all we can
And
say.
previously, it's about the short game, right? Now it's about the long-term game. So you can be good looking, you go online, maybe do 1-2 videos, and then you disappear. And when you disappear, when it comes to online social media, whether it's blogging from those days to now LinkedIn, once you disappear, people forget that you exist.
Yeah, definitely. You're like Vanilla Ice, one hit wonder. That's it.
I
Sure like that song. Yeah.
Definitely. So when we talk about we move to community building, right? So now just say we've started doing our content, putting it up, and I guess that constant, like what Amin said about building your content, giving people value. How does that now help us with building that community, to have a group of people following us, believing us in what we say? How does that community part, and
How do
maybe
we build
you
a
guys,
community,
how do you build that community? And maybe you guys can talk about, I know this year you all started the LinkedIn Authority group, right? And I believe they're not just your students anymore, right? We have a larger community. Maybe you can tell us about that as well. Like, what is community building? How do we do that? And you all are pointing to each other.
Are you pointing at me? Are you asking me to answer?
My brain not working because hungry.
I'm start with one first, right? Before that, let's just
the first one is how do we build the community in the first
Yes,
place?
how do we build a community first?
So the difference between a community and a one-person audience, or I always like to use the word fake guru, right? So the fake guru, whenever they are talking about
Fake guru, yeah.
themselves, the focus and attention is on them. So that's not building an authority, right? It's just
It's
you.
called building myself up for
It's just
myself.
building myself up,
Okay,
right?
sorry.
I'm the best person in the world. I can give you everything. You come to me. You'll be the person that will be the best business influencer and all that. Uh, that is a dying model because
Yeah.
the thing about us is that we are naturally adapt. We are naturally uh, human being are people that just want to be part of something, right? They want to find people that has similar value with them. They want to have people that has the same wavelength with them. Okay, and the thing about community building, what makes it different compared to just selling stuff, and then all the attention is on you, is that you're building a group of people that comes together, and these people will come together at the same time. They'll be supporting each other in terms of their growth. That's what community building is. So, uh, I don't know if that answered the question, but I think that is something that is worthwhile. It's something that's more sustainable, because here's the thing about Popcorn, right? We are not going to be there forever. Whenever we are helping people out and all that, right? If they are still with us after like 2 years and they are still not building their own community, that means we failed miserably in our job.
Yeah.
Because they're still too
That means
dependent.
they're playing safe. They're not
They're
playing a
playing
bigger
safe.
game. Yeah.
Right. So a bigger game for us would be if we can embark on a journey where we can actually ignite more leaders to create their own community in whatever field that they have, right? So if you are good in personal branding, then you create a community for personal branders, right?
Mm.
People who actually talk about personal branding, right? And create a healthy environment there. If you are great in NLP, so maybe NLP community will be something that you're going to take a look at, right? If you are looking into language community, that will be the community you want to be building at. So the idea is to create as many communities as you can, because you never know what can happen to the community members. You can you can share resources, you can share knowledges. So when you have community building, more communities, I think that's the best way for us to. For me, maybe I'm John Lennon or whatever, right? Maybe that's the best way for us to make the world better. When people are
But,
building more people, right? Yeah.
Actually, it goes back to those early days of Popcon. We were
Yeah.
horrified and mortified that all these influencers were not connected. They were creating. They don't think bigger of themselves. So that's been our core, our vision, that we create influencers so that they would go out and do their purpose, speak up, and make a change. We're not interested in being politicians, but we know that content can change the world and change Malaysians to be bigger than themselves, kind of thing, and connect with each other. So that has always been our intention. So it's not about look at me, look at me, look at me. It's about, okay, let's look at you. Where can we get you? What is your voice? What is your purpose in the world? What is your message to the world? And it's unique to you. Everybody
There was
is
there was just one guy that we interviewed in Just Langgar. His name is Sharil Ibrahim.
Oh, yes.
Remember that guy? Yeah.
My father, not my father, but same name.
So this guy, he was among the first Malaysian who was working abroad, and he was involved with Species. I don't know if you heard of that movie before. He was the visual artist guy behind it. Yeah.
He was the first Malaysian to work with NASA. He is also on the electronics, because he's such a genius. He worked on the electronics to control the alien in the movie Species. So super intelligent guy. And he was also responsible for bringing in, rhythm and cues, the animation kind of thing, into Malaysia. Yeah.
Yeah. And he brought this very interesting mindset that I feel that we are lacking as a community builder in Malaysia. When you go to Silicon Valley, for example, and you share stuff, right? You really want to share because you want to get point of view and opinion. Right?
Validation.
So for them, they are not afraid of competition,
Yeah.
They are not afraid of, people will steal my ideas.
Yeah.
They are more concerned about, will my product actually be making the difference to people? But that's the one challenge that we have when it comes to building community here in Malaysia, because the thing about us is that the mindset is, a lot of it is still, I need to be protective of my brand, I need to be protective of my client, and so on, so on, so on, so on. So those are one of the challenges that we are facing when it comes to building community members, because people at the end of the day are very protective with their brand. So that's what I feel. But we would really like to change that mindset.
And this is something that we always preach to our students, because we have students who are in the same industry, who does the same job, and to us it's like, hey, you know what, this is an advantage. You guys can actually collaborate and learn from one another. So we have a group of like financial planners who are like from different companies and all that, but they're collaborating. They're actually supporting, they're commenting and all that.
Yeah.
When you have that win-win mindset, you are able to attract bigger things in your life because you're not operating from fear and scarcity.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you're
Yeah.
operating from abundance, more things open up, and you're playing a blue ocean game and not a red ocean strategy where it's a dog eat dog world, which is what's happening with the production companies of the world, with the training companies of the world, right?
Traditional businesses.
Yeah, traditional businesses basically.
They're kind of cannibalizing on each other when they don't realize that. I think COVID kind of brought that urgency of collaboration because they didn't have a choice, right? So they started collaborating with each other. And I think that's a good point, right? Because I think a lot of content creators coming up also feel like, okay, that I want to talk about this and you're talking about it also. So why should I talk about it? It doesn't make sense. There's so many people out there. So I like the fact that you're talking about this collaboration. Can you give us an example of the collaboration? One of the collaborations of fields, the same field together from, one of your students maybe?
Like what Pauline said earlier, like one of the things that we actually have in our Facebook group is that we have a group of people that are in the same category of businesses. But for collaboration to happen, one thing that needs to happen is this. You really need to really be comfortable with the spirit of collaboration. That's number one. And number two, you need to be super confident with your clients. That means this is my client. I'm going to work with this client. If I can't work with this client, I'm willing to recommend someone else to do it. That is the kind of mindset you want to have, right?
So you need to be clear with you as a person and what you offer, so you know who your specific clients are. Because I could be selling the same financial products, but I'm focusing on this, but I don't want to focus on this. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
Specific type of clients you want.
It's the concern of the conflict of interest, basically.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So once you are clear with that, then collaboration works really well. Right? Because it starts with you first. You need to handle your own stuff first. Right? So some of the stuff that we noticed that was not working for people is that they are not clear on their client avatar. So they're trying to sell to everyone. So when they're trying to sell to everyone, when you have like another person who's also in the financial planner who's also selling a similar product, you will feel like,
competitor.
Right?
But
You become a
actually they're
competitor.
not. Yeah.
They're not.
They're
So
not.
the first step, right, before we actually go into collaboration is that we usually work with them to identify their perfect ideal client first. Because here, let me tell you why, right? That
That's a good
one
point.
skill is super important. Once you identify who your perfect client is, you will not be threatened by anyone.
Yep.
Like I know I want this client. They're gonna pay me this much and they're gonna be here. This is the face that I wanted in my community. Right? So if they don't fulfill my criteria, like for example, they come to me, okay, you know what, I can only pay RM1. Sorry, you are not my client avatar. I can recommend someone else to do it with you because I know someone is cheaper.
Yeah.
You see the difference there? Right? So it starts with you first. So this is something that we actually do with our students. Before you want to collaborate, you deal with yourself first. Once you deal with yourself,
You need to know yourself before you go and find people to partner with,
Yeah.
Not
Exactly,
just
because-
that. Sometimes we're human beings. We come from our own insecurities, and you're like, oh my God, what is that person doing? Last time got no LinkedIn class, suddenly got so many, for example, and then you also tergugak keimanan, and I'm going to share that I'm not perfect. I get triggered. Ami makes fun of me. I get triggered. And I honestly, like, this is one of the things that I do, triggered, and they will see this side of me, I'll be like, fucking bitch or bastard, whatever lah, yeah, because I'm human, right? And that's how I do stuff. I get emo and I have tantrums because that's me, and they know it's me. I need my tantrums, right, to let it out. Otherwise, you keep your emotions, you die of cancer. That's my theory lah. Okay, anyway, so then I know that when I get triggered, then I know that, okay, it's time for me to work on myself. Then I go and do my healing shit, and then it clears, and then I'm ready for a different game. So that's how I work on myself, and they do their stuff as well, kind of thing. But so when you get triggered by things, it's a fantastic opportunity to learn about yourself and to basically play a different game. That's the way we see it. Yeah.
So once you handle yourself, right? Once you know exactly, you gain clarity, then the game of collaborating becomes easier.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? So what you do, right, is that you start to look for people that basically can represent and work with you, and they are the same wavelength with you, same value,
Your
same
values
wavelength.
they resonate
Yes.
with you.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly. It's just like how we started Popcorn, right?
Yep.
I meet with Pauline, I meet with Nina, I meet with a lot of people, but how
Mhm.
come not all of them are in this group?
Mm.
Because the idea is for me to find specific people that can work with the same value and the same wavelength. That's what community building is about. It's about finding that niche, finding
Exactly.
the same group of people they can work with. So if
Yep.
our financial student, for example, if they can work, they can't work with each other, we'll just tell them, okay, not same value, is it? Okay, fine. Find someone with the same value then.
Yeah, which is
Keep
also
on
okay.
looking, right? Which is also okay because there are so many different type of community out there, right? You might
Yeah.
not feel you belong in that community, but you might feel belong to a different community group.
And it
So the
can be
idea is
someone from a different field where you can also still collaborate as well.
Yep.
We've
That's
seen
correct.
so many of that
You know,
happening.
it could be like sister products or whatever, as long as it's in line, you know,
Complements each other as
yeah,
well.
complementary and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the best community I know so far is the Star Wars community. That's the only thing they talk about. The
They
latest
can really
movie,
relate with
Star
each
Wars,
other,
they,
right?
they, they can really talk about each other, and I mean, the power community is so powerful. I mean,
Yes.
I think the best example for this, I don't know if you guys have followed Zack Snyder's journey to actually create the whole
Yes. Justice League.
Justice League, right?
Yes.
So it was a flop 2 years ago when they released the movie. The
Yes.
community came back and demanded Warner Bros. And said, "Hey, you know what? We want this to be a Zack Snyder cut." Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought this year the movie came out? It was longer, right?
Yes.
It was much better. My personal point of view, it was much better, and all of this happened because of the community, right?
Yeah.
So do not underestimate the power community. Once you have a strong community for you, right, they're going to become your cult. That's
Yeah.
and I really believe in community because I used to come from a community. The cult itself is a community, so you want to
Yeah.
create that. Yeah,
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think that's very true. People will support you, and you have someone like
Yeah.
like cheerleading you and say,
Never,
"Don't worry."
never underestimate the power of fandoms, basically.
Oh yeah,
No.
I love it.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
So there's an interesting comment, guys. Liang An does a lot of video content creation, right? He does production and things like. He says, I think the most important thing before entering to video is to improve writing. It's the least trendy medium, but it's the deciding factor for long-term content successes. What do you all think?
I personally feel that's one of it. But after working with a lot of people in the last few years, I think 90% of it is mindset. Mindset.
So do
True,
you think
right.
everyone can do video content? And well,
Well, it's subjective, right?
Well, depends on your intention
Well, depends on your
Yeah.
intention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what do you want from it, right?
and
Yeah.
whether do you want to continue, you have a continuous improvement mindset also.
Or not.
To get better
So
and
basically,
better.
it goes back to how bad do you want it, and if you're willing to put in the work. Because video, like anything, is a skill. It's something that you don't come out of your mother's womb having the skills to do video, but it's something that you learn and you pick up along the way. You know, like walking. You know, talking and stuff like that. Writing, yes, I do think writing is the basic building blocks of a video. But don't if your writing is good, your video will be good. But having said that, don't stop it from you not doing video. Learn as you go. You know, kind of thing. If your writing is good, your video will be powerful. And there are simple formulas that you can use to make your writing better. Again, writing is a skill which you learn.
Yeah, I like one of the workshops you guys did, Alberni Ken, right? And the way Ken explains how to do videos, it was just so amazing and it was so simple. Ken is one of those people we talked about, which is good looking. You mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Oh
I was really
yes,
good.
Japanese
I tell
cute.
you, I was watching. I'm like,
But he's also very strong when it comes to substance as well.
yes.
So
Yep.
why people follow him is not just because he's good looking. He's very good looking, guys. Also check him out. They will give you his full name later.
I'll
But
write down the name.
he's also very good when it comes to video content. And I went for his workshop, I think like a 1-2 hour workshop, and he really explained it very well. And I like what Pauline and Nina said earlier about clarity, right? And I think you get a lot of clarity from coaches lah. I never believed in the idea of coaches. Let me be very honest. For 2 years ago, but I got on this call with this coach from the UK. Her name is Victoria. Veronica Owusu. I'm sure some of you know her from LinkedIn, right?
Oh, I think so.
Oh yeah, she's good.
She forced me to like answer her question, like, okay, so what do you really want to do? And I was going here and there and everywhere. And she's like, so what do you really want to do? And I was like, damn it, I have to answer. She's like, visualize. I was like, oh my God. But it really gives you clarity of what you really want to do instead of flying everywhere. And then your content becomes easier because you know what you're targeting. And I think that journey will take time. If you like Amin says, right, the mindset, you need to figure that out even before you collaborate with anyone. If not, you're going to be all over the place.
Because
Okay,
you
so-
are confused with your own self-identity. How are you going to
Exactly.
collaborate others?
Correct.
And then you think, is that my identity or is that not?
Yeah. Just to add to the writing thing, for me, I think what's more important is the formula. Once you know the formula, you can actually move things around. Because sometimes when you're too involved with writing, certain people, the way they write is very different from how they articulate or how they speak. And then you get stuck into that because then you become very uptight, very robotic and all that. What's important is the flow. Know your formula, see what flows, and then if you can, just see yourself in the video and practice it first. Capture how you say it, and then it becomes easier.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. So we've already hit 5:30. So I'm going to start taking some of the questions. There's some questions from earlier. And there's one question here that I'm also going to relate to one of the questions we have missed out, right? How do you start creating content? Because we have a lot of people here that they've never really created content. And some of them are in my classes as well.
Soon?
Yeah. And I'm trying to teach them how to start. And I told them it can be something as simple as, like, I don't know what content to write. Something
So
as
here's
simple
my
as
thought.
that. Here's my thought, sort of thing. So how do you start finding content? And then Sharina has asked as well, how do you keep on finding and creating contents to sustain that retention? How do you keep the spirits up?
This is Nina's specialty. I'm going to allow her to speak first.
Okay, first things first, before you even create content, this was my very first lesson on YouTube. Before I can put up my first video, they asked me so many questions. They're like, what's your brand? What is your content about? What the fuck? I don't got time for this. I want to put a video out, God, it's like, what are you asking me about what my purpose is? So jam already, because I'm a perfectionist, like jam. So it took me some time to come up with the font, the this, the that, and at the time, no Canva, okay? So can you imagine how long it took? I was just using PowerPoint. But now that we're doing the class, this makes a lot of sense. First things first, you got to know who you are as a person. It goes back. And what do you want people to see? What do you want to talk about? What voice do you want to see? And from there, you will know what content to start. So you don't just pick from thin air. You pick up from what your brand, like for us, is very clear. Okay, I'm into sales. I'm in this. Or I want to position myself as an authority in this. So you go back to that lah. And then you create content on that. So for me, I'm a very huge Google person. So let's say I will look at trending things and I will look at, what do I feel like talking about? I want to talk about this. And then I'll start Googling and see, okay, I want to talk about this. And then I will use the formula and start writing the content and put up a photo. So that's how I would do it, kind of thing. Or I might get inspired by content that's being seen. Like there's a Gillette video that I'm going to share tomorrow. That was so inspiring for me.
Yeah.
And it's apt for our show tomorrow, which is about leadership. And I love how they're changing the game because Gillette is a man's brand, right? And then with the Me Too movement, how the heck does this man brand kind of weave their way in? They did it so good. So watch my post tomorrow. I was like so inspired. So I'm going to be talking about that leadership stems from us and the change that we want to make in the world, because that's what business influencers are about. So that's what I would do. And okay, how do you keep spirits up? This is why the community is important. With Popcon, when you join Popcon, it's with a whole group of like-minded people who knows that it's not easy, it's hard, and you go down, kita jaga kita.
Accountability lah.
Yeah, kita suffer together. Kita jaga kita win together. So there's this sense of camaraderie, and we knew we wanted it because remember we're felt YouTubers. We were looking for a community here in Malaysia, and we couldn't find any. So we're like, okay, after we're gonna create our own community. So
So you feel like everyone out there is on like same journey with you, so it's easier.
Because you don't understand how hard it is. Like what Sharina said, where to find content? Oh my God, there's a hater. What do you do? You know, and then somebody who's on a higher move will go like, Nina, remember you said this. I'm like, oh my God, you're right. Okay, I can do this. You know, so that's the power of the community. And in fact, a lot of our students continue to be with us because they love the community.
Yeah.
It has its own life, and then they start calling themselves Popcon. I'm a Popcooner, and we're like, what? Because wrongly pronounced Popcon to Popcoon. So now they call themselves the nation of Popcooners, and we're like, yeah. And then they come out with all
your own fandom. You're creating
your own fandom. Popcorn, you know,
They shop sendiri.
so
another way to keep the spirit out is that if you're doing this just for you and not something bigger for yourself, then you're gonna get tired really soon.
It's a bit hard.
It's gonna be very hard. Like for us right now, we go live like almost every night. This week, every night. We are live on Monday, we were live on Tuesday, we were live
It
tonight.
was hard to get them, okay, guys. All three of them. I told Nina I want all three. She's like, all three, at the same time. I said, yes, I want all three.
All right. So again, you have to go back to the same question. Why are you doing this in the first place? So if you're doing this for something just money, money can only motivate you so much. There's only so much you can actually get from it. But when you play a bigger game and it's for something bigger, there's a lot of things you can achieve. That is the one thing that gets me up every morning, every night. So sometimes I complain about it, but at the end of the day, I always go back to that, right? So how do you find content? This is something that I learned from Gary Vee. So rather than thinking about creating content, think about all the stuff that you've documented in your life. The first heartbreak you had, what do you learn from that? All right? The best teacher that you had in school, all right? Can you talk about that? What does your parents inspire you? You can talk about that. That can become content. So every single thing that you document in your life can become a content. Like today, I just got pissed off with LinkedIn because I was typing this whole long content, but I can't fit 1,300 characters. And I just, you know what? I'm just going to turn that into a post, right? But while doing that, at the same time, I was able to tell people and to teach people about some of the things that you can do on LinkedIn. It's documentation. So think about documentation. Everything that you do. What do you get? What inspired you to do things? Right? That's documentation. What are some of the things that you learn from strangers, your friends? All of those are content. And here's the unique thing about that content: nobody else can copy it because it's yours.
Yeah.
So,
Very
so why
personal.
bother? Yeah, why bother sharing about other people?
Yeah.
When you can talk about you.
Mm.
Yeah, I hope that helps.
There's one point of time. I was actually telling my friend. I was like, my sister, because I shared the same room with my sister, and sometimes when you're in MCO and you're stuck together for a very long time, and the personality of clashes, right? To a point of time, I got so frustrated. I was telling my friend, I feel like coming out with a Twitter account just to tweet about what the hell that I encountered with my sister, stuck with my sister, MCO 101, the kind of thing, like share like a diary, just flush out all my frustration inside there.
It can be a masa apa tak jadi.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we have this one influencer that mentor us. His name is Jimmy Muhammad. So he created a Twitter account just to basically put advice from a father to his daughter.
Yes.
So he calls that ayah. Yeah. So
I think what's important here is the team.
Jimmy is amazing.
Yeah, it's the team. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
But if you know your team, right, it's very hard. It'll get very easy for you to look for content. Like for example, like what Amin mentioned with Mark Win, he's into food.
Yeah.
So his content is all about food related. Anything that's related, he can actually champion it. So if there's something that you want to champion, for example, or 2 or 3 things that you want to champion, that can be a direction for you. And then from there, you can actually use Google, and to get more ideas.
Yeah.
I think
wanna
that's a very good point.
You want to be mindful because we know of influencers. He's got so many followers on LinkedIn, views also a lot, but he posts about random things and very frequent. Yes, he has a lot of views, but I was shocked that he reached out to me because he started asking me, Nina, how do I monetize? Because my viewers from everywhere. So like with us, we're very purposeful because we create business influences. It's got to benefit the business back. So you need to be mindful of your brand. What are the pillars that you want to talk about? And then you want to always bring them back to those 3 things. Bring it back. So you develop that reputation for it.
Okay, there's another question from much earlier when we were talking about the dynamics of the team and things like that. So someone asked, what are some strategies we can use to motivate your team?
Internal motivation or student motivation? Which one? 2 different things.
Motivating team members, is it?
Yeah, team members, I mean, how do you motivate each other if you're in a teamwork kind of situation?
I think I know Amin's it's just give free lobsters.
Do we even motivate? Do we even motivate each other?
Actually, no, right?
We don't.
We don't, because we're very on it. Why? Because we is it the purpose of Popcon? That's why we're so on it.
I think it's because we all know how. I think it's because we all know how to jigsaw puzzle together, and we know how to handle ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you're talking about motivation team, right? That is a whole big topic on its own because every single individuals are very different. Some are very external motivation based. Some are very internal. Even words of appreciation can already motivate somebody. But this is where you need to learn further about the types of personalities, maybe the 5 love languages that you can read up further and see what would work for them.
See, guys,
the 5 love languages is easy. You can actually go online. There's a test that you can do for free and they will generate the report, for example.
Sometimes you need to go and do love languages.
5 love languages.
I know how Amin motivates me.
Food,
Usually
lobster.
I'll go to them and I'll have a breakdown and then Amin will say, semua yang berlaku adalah yang sebaiknya. And then I'll okay.
Motivation, the statement.
It's like there's always a cause, there's always a purpose of how it happens.
Yeah. And then
And
then we will tell to ourselves, semua yang berlaku adalah sebaiknya. Okay. Then we go back.
Okay, we have one more question, right? Yizhen says, I have concern. I used to work in a community and people said that in order for a team to work, it must consist of an average of strong personality and soft personality. Don't know what she means by soft personality. Is that really true?
Okay, coming from someone who has a mixture of different team prior to this, I would say this, at the end of the day, what's more important is that everyone is clear and aligned that this is the direction. It's same page, right? Like for the 3 of us, I think we're very clear that this is where we're going to be in the next few years, right? We are clear about it. We thrash it out. I think rather than looking at personality, it's better to focus on honesty, focusing on values, right? Being open, being transparent, and just put everything aside and just focus on the goal. That's how I see it, right? Because the thing about personality is this, because if you base it on personality, you take a look at the 3 of us, we are very strong. All of us.
None of us are soft in this tree.
Yeah.
There's no
so we used to have we used to have someone very soft in the team, and then it didn't work out.
Soft but very strong,
So very strong. Yes,
soft,
but it didn't work out.
Soft but strong in sticking to views. So that didn't work.
Cannot ban
Exactly.
Cannot
ban.
I don't even know what to say anymore. So I mean, because I really don't understand.
You cannot come to an agreement. There's no middle ground.
No. I can come to agreement. I just don't understand the MO. So I'm like, my brain's like, huh? Okay. So yeah.
So you at the end of the day, because I worked in corporate before, I used to have a team where I followed the whole DISC model I got the
Yeah.
dominant one, influencer, support and compliance of the team and all that, right? I found that at the end of the day, that works to a certain extent. But if the team is not in the boat together, right?
And
Because
want to
that's
be
the most
together.
important part, is, right? They want to be together. They want to be in part of the boat. It's at the end of the day, that's what matters. That's what counts, right? So if you already decided, if you already decided that Dina is going to take charge, everyone needs to be aligned to it. So behind the scene, we can argue, but the moment we go up at the front, it's a strong united front. That's
Yep.
the most important part of this.
That's a good point. Strong
Yeah.
united front. Like you can discuss whatever it is, have your disagreements, but when you go out there, you all have to all be on the same page. If not, it shows disunity. It shows that you have no idea what you're talking
Yeah.
about, and that's your brand as well, right?
And also
Exactly.
for us, I think we laid down a lot of ground rules. It's almost like a relationship, a marriage. So right from the get go, it's about yes, we sort out whatever shit is behind. In front, we're united. Doesn't matter. We go in front together. And we always take care of each other first. And I think that's why no matter what, we're very comfortable in telling the truth no matter what. Yeah. So it's not about jaga muka.
Yeah,
It's about
yeah, correct.
we
But I
need
just
to
want
be honest with each other so that we know where everybody is, so that we can take care of everybody.
Betul.
Yeah.
Just to add on to that, whatever just now, that statement, it says that in order to have a team, you need a soft and strong people. When you start boxing people up, that's a problem, because you
Yeah.
can go into a bully culture and all that,
Yes.
So you're not building the team for the right reason, because at the end of the day, why do I want a soft team who cannot contribute?
Yeah.
So are you saying that I just need somebody to be on an executional role?
So they just
Yeah.
listen to you.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
just imagine,
Yes,
right?
you basically just want to get followers to just follow what we
Yeah,
say.
Correct.
Then you short sendiri lah, like some leaders lah.
Yeah,
you know?
because if you look at it, right, if I own Google, or if it's Google, do you think that most of their people are all very soft? They would have been very opinionated, very strong and all that. But the question here is, maybe they are only strong in certain areas, and certain areas they mellowed down and become a team player. So again, it is about when do you take charge and when do you, become a team player? How do you maybe influence somebody else into a decision that you feel that may work? So it's very fluid when you're talking about teamwork or building a team. You cannot box things up. There's no formula for it, actually.
Betul.
So
And
if you want to read,
with Pauline.
sorry?
Pauline is a coach. You're
Yes.
with
Oh,
Pauline.
no, I just want to say that if you really want to read further into it, I would recommend you to read this article by Harvard Business Review. It's called Persuading the Unpersuadable. It's by Adam Grant. It's brilliant. He actually talks about how do the team behind Steve Jobs actually influence his decision, because he did not believe in iPhone. He did not believe that the telco would buy into the idea of a smartphone. But his teammates was very convicted with it. So the question here is, how do you get a stubborn-headed man to say yes? And there are also like Steve Jobs would mellow down. So the question here is Steve Jobs a team player? Yes, he is at certain point in his life. Are we team players? Yes, we are at certain time of our life. But if there's certain things that we need to champion and fight for, then we will do it. The question here is, how do we deliver that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Very good.
I mean, Pauline's very right. Yeah, we're all dominant, but we know when to be soft in certain area, and we know when we're gonna be, and then we're gonna say, I'm gonna make a stand for this because blah 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 blah, and then somebody else say, okay.
So I think what's important here is we got to always remember, we need to build a safe zone for everybody, and we need to respect everybody. And from there, at least we know what is our intention, our purpose, and then from there we can leave the situation better off and become good friends again. Respect is important.
Correct.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point.
And another thing, I don't like listening to what people say. It's just like, if you grow up in an Indian family, what will people say? I think Lily Singh did a lot of videos on that. So, you're not married, what will people say? So I'm allergic to that. So I usually drop all that and just go from zero and let the universe just gives you amazing things, because otherwise we box people up, like what Pauline said, and it's never good for anybody else.
True.
Yep.
That's when you get people who feel, oh, I feel very unappreciated in the group.
And you know the danger about that?
Yeah.
They will not step out of their comfort zone and be creative or go to a distance to be great. So if you want to bring your team to be great, you need to allow certain errors and all that, because you need to be their safety net so that your team can count on you. And which is why I can count on Amin. I definitely, can count on Nina. We're all at this, doing this
Did
together.
you hear that? I mean, she said she can definitely count on me. No,
Yeah, but
just
she drives me crazy. I mean, Nina always drives me crazy one, It's like, wow,
because we're the
big point.
complete opposite. That's why
Yeah.
she drives me nuts too. But Pauline's right. I know I can. I know that if I go outside and I say something and I fucked up, and I can go, man, Pauline, I did this, and I'm like, okay, fine, let's fix it. Betul tak?
Yeah.
Yeah. Checking.
Semua yang berlaku adalah baik, Nina.
Oh, yeah. And then I'll be like,
This is so cute. Right.
So
Okay.
cute.
It's cute. It's a cute dynamic, but it's good because you guys know each other and you can work well together.
yeah, I
It's
told you
great.
the cult we went through and a lot of cleaning shit.
It's also because it's discovery, and that's how we learn to dance with each other and finding each other's tempo.
Yeah, it's true. I think sometimes I always see it as well as, sometimes you need to put yourself in other people's shoe as well in order for you to understand how the person actually is going through the whole situation. Right?
Right.
Most of the time they don't. Most of the time they just say, how can you don't see me in my position? Right? But it's very hard to get people to see them in other people's positions. That's the part.
Correct. Yeah.
And we only want to do that when we feel connected to someone. Like, I mean, why should I look at your perspective? And when we feel connected to someone, then we feel, but like when things happen to someone, then you're like, oh, but you must, think about it. Maybe she's having a bad day. But if there's someone you don't know, you're like, I don't care if she's having a bad day. How can she do that to me, sort of thing? So I think being connected to that person, that means having value, respect. I think all these things have been mentioned by everyone here today, right? I think having that understanding will give you a better perspective. So we've come towards the end of the show, right? Thank you so much to everyone who has
supposed to be 2 hours almost.
Yeah, it's almost 10 minutes more. We are closing already, but I think it's been very valuable. We've looked at team dynamics, right? We've looked at how personalities. I thought it would be a very interesting thing to discuss, and I don't think it's been discussed before with three of you, especially. I found you guys, when I've met all of you personally and online, right, that you guys are very strong personalities on your own. And I was very curious because, usually in any position when we talk, like what Pauline said, we usually run away or we want to put soft so-called personalities inside. And you never want to put strong personalities together. You're so afraid there's going to be war or volcano erupting, But I like the perspective that you guys gave about how you come to that zone where everyone starts understanding each other. But Pauline brought up something interesting. It's not an overnight thing. It's discovery, right? Discovering people, finding out. I think those were very, very good points when we talk about that entire group dynamics and how do we get there. And the story about how y'all built the influencer school, it also tells us that it's not something overnight. You just like, tomorrow let's do it, but you got to start somewhere, right? Just langgar, right? Let's all just langgar.
The School of Business Influencers
is every Thursday night.
Anyone can actually enroll in it, is it? It's a program that started already, is it? School of Business Influencers.
Oh yeah. We've been doing it since the pandemic. The pandemic has been a blessing for us. We pretty much validated the product during the pandemic, and we got better and better and better. And our people are already Southeast Asian business influencers.
Wow.
Yeah,
We've gotten clients internationally, speaking gigs internationally.
One student who, according to him, was unknown in the industry, and now he's like teaching people in India, Africa, Southeast Asian region and stuff like that. So yeah, what did
Oh, I think she logged off for a while. Yep. Continue. But I just want to know, is this what anyone can actually enroll into it, is it?
Yes, it's our 14-week paid program to position yourself as a business influencer and authority in your industry.
Through LinkedIn lah.
Through
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, yes.
Through LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Okay. So the rest of you, if you want to check it out, you can actually follow them in LinkedIn, and then maybe you can go in there and ask about their programs, because this sounds very interesting. Because I used to have encountered before programs like this, but never before specifically towards influencers per se. But yeah, not bad.
Another thing that you can do if you want to get some resources from us, there's actually a Facebook group that you can join. It's called Authority on LinkedIn, right? And it's what we do. Authority on LinkedIn. So what we actually do in that particular Facebook group, every Monday we'll go live to give value. So it's like a 1 hour training on LinkedIn. And next week we are actually interviewing one of our students, and she's going to be sharing like some of her success story and how she built her brand on LinkedIn. So check out the link. And you guys are always invited to come for that group and participate in that free training, right?
Okay.
Yep,
I
yep,
think
yep.
we
go live there.
Comment downstairs. Yeah.
Yeah, we go live there every Monday at 8:30, so you're welcome to join us, kind of thing. Yeah. Also, another thing that you said, yes, we're strong. It's kind of, but you have to understand that we're all going for the same battle. So it's like we're the Marvel Universe superheroes, and we are going against Thanos. So Amin does his shit, Pauline does her shit. I mean, in a good shit, and I do my shit. I don't want to be going with weak people. I want strong people, because Thanos is the mother of all villains. Father.
Yeah. Father. With a snap of a finger.
So guys, you have the link below. So check it out and note it down. I think we have some interesting parties who want to join. I think there are also some of the audience.
I have to say that when you join the group, please make sure you answer all the questions, because our chatbot has a mind of its own and will kick you out. It's a very cheap chatbot, got attitude one, okay, from China.
We want to make sure the chatbot want to make sure that the people that come into the group are not spamming people.
Yeah,
it's real.
Because trying to protect the community. Quite good lah. The chatbot cheap also, but it comes with an attitude problem. But we're fine. Very helpful during the show.
I actually enjoy the chatbot. It's very cute.
Yeah. The chatbot's got
very
its own
sassy, right? Yeah.
Last time I think she wanted her name Siti, right? Then I don't know lah. Siti. Supposed to pakai tudung punya chatbot, but then made in China, so we don't know yet.
Her name is Siti Eswari Ziang.
Yeah.
Confused. Oh gosh. All right.
This has been amazing. We are so lucky to be able to get them together. I don't know how it happened, but guys, to be honest, right? We've been talking about this from beginning of this year. I think we spoke to Nina about it in January, and I was like, let's get 3 of them just to book a schedule and the timing and things like that. But I'm so glad we got 3 of them together. I think
this one doesn't come out, huh?
This one. I know. I asked Nina, I said, Nina, are you sure Pauline is coming or not?
I was telling Nina, Nina, don't want can
Yeah.
I would have personally called you and bugged you.
Our story, right? The different, because I told you, right, there'll be different version one.
Correct.
No, I think it's so interesting, and I mean, so far I've not heard of this context or this perspective of the 3 of you. I've heard like you and Amin, for example, Nina, but I've not heard of how 3 of you came together and the whole lobster story.
Yeah, I know.
I wasn't part of the lobster. I was only part of the karaoke, and there's evidence.
And the cow.
Yeah,
I would love to be part of the lobster meal as well. Just go and type it.
Let's put it this way. If you are invited to a lobster meal, that means we're probably starting a new startup, and we're probably thinking of getting you in on it.
Next con.
Yeah. Would not be
someone is that lobster in Phuket.
Yeah, it's the lobster.
Yeah. Before you eat the lobster, you think twice. Otherwise, you become Pauline indebted for 3 years.
Yeah. I owe it to the lobster. I ate his lobster. I now have to serve under him for so long, for 3 years for that.
But to be honest, this is one of the best company I've actually been in.
Oh.
The others that I've been, the partners are really a pain in the ass.
We can be a pain in the ass too.
Pain
a pain in the ass for the wrong reason, but this basically we just dance together. So it's been so amazing. Yeah.
Yep.
Like Pauline
Oh,
said,
I
like,
love
dance
you
in the
too,
right
Pauline.
tempo,
She
right?
never says this. This is why we should invite her more often. Thank you, Pauline. I love you too. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Hey, we can
yes,
always
Abby.
bring you back later on.
No.
Can lah. What? 6 months down the road, what happened?
I have a request actually. I have a request.
What is it?
To Nina and Amin. I mean, actually, all three of you, right? I mean, I would really love to see you guys, three of you together on a platform, off and on. At least. I mean, like three of you together. I think the dynamics is so interesting.
Actually, I want to do a show where we just talk COCK.
But you guys have no
Like the
time
thing. Yeah.
based on your current schedule. So if you like, once in a while, we can host you so you can speak.
Don't worry, we can create a platform for you guys to join in. We're more than happy to open up a platform for you guys to
So
just
I mean,
You don't have to
next
do
time
the work.
you want to bitch, then we talk lah. Okay. We reach out to Cheryl.
yes.
So we can bitch about
I
something.
can't predict the future. I'm just gonna say we'll see how it goes.
Don't
But
worry,
when
our
you-
platform is always open for you guys to come in and do any
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank
Confirm
you.
didn't say it to every partner lah. No. This is the first time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Such a nut.
Guys,
You know why? To
easy
get
to hear that again.
compliment. Actually, I can attest to it because to get compliment out of Pauline is like diamonds coming out. So the fact that she said that this is the best team, I'm like,
You know it's gold, right? You know it's
yeah.
really gold.
The words
Yeah.
love coming out of her. And when she said language of love, we're like, dia ni tahu ke love? Betul tak, Amin? That's what me and I mean, she's talking about love.
I'm gonna keep
I'm a
quiet and
coach.
be
I know
neutral
my
in this.
theories.
I'm gonna keep quiet and be neutral in this because
Yeah,
there's
You
just me
know,
on
guys,
Switzerland all the time.
so we've hit 6 p.m. and we're going to end on time. So we'll see the rest of you backstage. Thank you so much for staying tuned with us for the last 2 hours. I hope you had fun. You've learned something. And,
So keep on after this 8 p.m. We have another
Yes.
one. The
Oh, that's
come
8
out.
p.m. today.
Come on. Come on, join 8 p.m. So excited.
So Hamza.
Yes, please come and throw in
Stay
all your
safe.
questions. 5 languages of love, whatever.
Oh yeah, 5 languages of love at 8 o'clock.
I don't know who is more excited, whether it's Yi.
Sounds like it.
Sounds like it's her, definitely.
I was really very excited when I actually saw the speaker, right? I was like, I must get this speaker in. I must get this speaker in. I was like, keep telling Cheryl, I need to get this speaker in. I need to, because this is really interesting. It's very hard for us to find, experts in talking about this.
So guys, being the most serious one between me and Yi, let me tell you, it's not going to be teaching you any techniques and stuff like that. I'm sorry to disappoint you all, yeah?
Unless you ask the question,
That one
maybe.
different title.
Oh,
Wrong
anyways,
class.
part two.
So
Yeah.
we are going to steal them and take them backstage. For the rest of you, good night, good evening, goodbye. We'll see you
Bye.
No.
next show at 8
Bye,
p.m.
guys.
tonight. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.